Hi everyone, and very good morning to all of you who are available live. I hope I am audible and visible both, right? Everyone who has stayed in the session can give me a quick update in the chat box. We'll use the chat box to answer all the questions and queries which you have got uh, during the session. If at all anything comes up, you can use the chat box to communicate so that I can read the questions and answer your queries too. Mondal, Avinash, Akash, everyone out here? Yes or no? Good. I hope all of you have given your best possible shot for the previous day CMAT examination which has happened. And in today's session, we'll see the scope of things which is going to come in line after completion of a CMAT examination. We'll quickly analyze the updated predicted scores for all the colleges for which you are about to send the application to, and at the same time, the optimal number of attempts which you should have had in yesterday's CMAT examination. On the basis of that, we can actually see what is the optimal percentile range or the score range what you can predict for yourself, and on that range which are the colleges which you should apply to for which the applications are still on. At the same time, we'll also talk about the upcoming rounds of GDPI, how we need to prepare, and the college application process too. Cool. But just to summarize the overall feedback of the previous day CMAT examination, I hope all of you have given the best possible shot for the CMAT exam which happened yesterday. And you guys have analyzed the easiest and the most simplest section to come up in the exam was basically logical reasoning and English, which where I'm sure all of you might have attempted around 17, 18 questions quite easily. In comparison with the 2021 paper and 2020 paper of CMAT, slightly bit more challenging section which came up was basically math and DI. But overall, math, logic, and verbal is more or less consistent with the paper pattern of 2020 and 2021. So the only thing which is going to determine the accelerated scores or the percentile for your performance in the CMAT exam, which happened yesterday, was on the level of your GK and innovation and entrepreneurship. But don't consider that this is done and dusted, that whatever you have studied for GK and innovation and entrepreneurship is not going to help you out. No, it is not the case. Certainly not going to happen, because now you'll be applying for the PI rounds and the GD rounds for various colleges coming ahead. Whatever you have studied in GK and innovation plus entrepreneurship, these are frequent questions that the colleges will ask you in the upcoming rounds of GD and PI. So do not lose the touch. First of all, whatever you have done, please revise it once again and possibly be well aware of the current awareness topics also, which could be a possible agenda for your GD, GE, or let's say SA or the PI2. So whatever you have done in GD, in GK and innovation entrepreneurship, as said, all these things will certainly help you out to prepare for your best of the possible potential in the upcoming GD and PI round. But yes, on the overall paper analysis, let's say they were, as you guys have seen, that there were 20, 20, 20, and 20 questions each in the given section. On an average, slightly or the most difficult questions in the given topics of math, logic, and verbal was not more than 2 to 3. So if you are expecting 99 percentile, or if your aim was 99 percentile in the CMAT exam, which has happened yesterday, your overall attempt in math should have been in the range of 17 to 18 questions, followed by logic. It should be in the range of around 15 to 17 questions. Same would be the ideal performance, which was expected out of you in verbal ability also. The most challenging section, as you guys have seen in the previous day examination, was basically GK and entrepreneurship, where if your score is tentatively in the range of 10 to 12 odd questions which are right, then you are very much more above the performance of the other students also. On an average, if your score, let's say overall attempts in the paper of CMAT yesterday was in the range of 80 to 84 questions, with around about 95 to 97% of accuracy, hardly 2 or 3 questions may go wrong, then possibly you are in the band of 99 percentile or 98.5 and above for the given examination. If this is clear, now the next slide is going to be a penultimate slide for you to actually see and consider what is going to happen on the score card on the basis of your raw score. What is the percentile that you are expecting? Since there's no normalization which is going to happen in the CMAT examination, because there was only and only one slot, so your raw score will just be ranked. I repeat, your raw score will just be ranked on the level of performance of the other students who have given the examination. Just like the previous year toppers of the year 2020 and 2021, the all-India topper will always be in the range of 330 to 335 for the given exam. But as said, these are guys who have actually got 100 percentile in the examination. The cutoff for Jamlal Bajaj, the best college for which you guys are aiming for, which you guys have heard many a times is going to be in the range of 99.8 to 99.9 percentile, is somewhere going to be in the range of 320 to 325 on the basis of the CMAT exam of the year 2022. But yes, so this is the range on which we will see best of the colleges are getting opened up. So score of 300 to 305 or 306 is going to give you an assurance of getting more than 99 percentile for the given exam of CMAT, which happened yesterday. If it is above 315, which surely going to happen, that you will get more than 99.5. There are certain colleges which are below 99.9, which is below Jamal Bajaj, and which is above 99, colleges like Signum and others, which you can expect to get a converted calls on the given scores also. Yes, at the same time, there are dozens of colleges which will start giving you a call if your scores are above 90 percentile also. So 90 is like a beautiful figure. Like even if you have applied for Wellinger, it's surely going to happen that Wellinger will give you a call on above 85 percentile to all the students. But the easy convert, I repeat, the easy converts is always for people who have got 90 plus in the CMAT examination. It does not intend to say that people who have got 85 will not be able to convert the call. There are plethora of examples, but it's just a case you've got to perform really damn good in the upcoming GDPI rounds so that on a score of 80 or 85, colleges like Wellinger and others can give you a convert calls on the CMAT scores of as low as 80 or 85. But yes, said, if your scores is somewhere in the range of 230 to 240, easily you can expect 90 percentile plus, and 90 is like a golden figure. Above 90, surely some decent colleges will give you a call. And it's purely on the basis of your performance in GDPI and the important college application process, which easily will ask you to submit the SOP or the application answers or submit the PIQ form, XYZ things which is going to happen. On the basis of that, they will eliminate certain cases and they will consider certain applications. If you performed really well in the application rounds for the further colleges, a score of 85 and above could be a decent score for you to get into any college which is Wellinger and above. However, there are certain colleges which even comes in band 2. Band 2 means, let's say Wellinger have got two campuses. The primary campus is going to be the Mumbai campus, but also they have got a secondary campus or campus 2, which is there in Bangalore. If you are okay to get into Wellinger institution, but of a Bangalore premise or campus, then a score of 75 can also be a good figure for you, because 75 plus, you can expect a call to come from Wellinger Bangalore also. As said, this is called, but not an assurance of conversion. The conversion obviously is going to be at least 5 to 10 percentile above the cutoff, what they usually mention in the eligibility. I hope this is clear. So as said, even if the score is above 200, you can expect decent colleges to come up. So any score which is in the range of 200 to 300, your score is going to be in the range of 80 to 99 percentile. So either you can classify yourself as band 1. Let's consider to be 325 to 300. That's part 1. Followed by that, let's come in tier 2, which is 255 to 210. And lastly, 200 and below, which is 85, or let's say less than 85, on which you can expect a call. On the basis of that, what I've done, I have actually given you the predicted scores for all the colleges for which you are about to send the application to, or possibly you might have sent the application to, the colleges which are open from the admission perspective of the CMAT examination also. So what we're going to do is, we'll quickly analyze the performance of and the cutoffs of the previous year of 2020 and 2021, and we'll see the score range which is required for you to get into these colleges. As said, the primary aim for all the students who are applying for CMAT examination was basically somehow to get into Jamal Bajaj. In terms of percentile, it's always going to be 99.9, because around about 60 to 70,000 people have applied for your CMAT examination. So we are looking at around about 60 odd people who will get 99.9 above in the paper of CMAT examination. So the tentative cutoff for Jamal Bajaj is going to be 320. Either it's going to be 318, 320 or 322 for the year of 2022. The second best campus that will be explored on the basis of the CMAT exam is going to be Simsri, which is Signum Institution of Management, again a government college based out in Bangalore, for which the cutoff is going to be 99.01 and above. Here, if your score was in the range of, let's say 300 and above, you can easily expect a final converted call to come from Signum also. As you guys are well aware of, there's no GDPI round or selection parameter beyond the CMAT examination. So it was purely on the basis of a performance in CMAT examination on which you guys could have got into either Bajaj or Signum College. The application rounds of these colleges is going to start now after the CET examination through the CAP round. So you got to wait and watch unless the CET examinations are has been done, and post the CET examination, the college preference rounds or the centralized application process round will start, on which you can put a preference of either Jamnal, Bajaj, or Signum, depending on the scores of your CMAT examination. The other private colleges which will be open in the range of 95 to 99 will be basically, one of them would be Goa Institution of Management, and second is KJ Somaiya Mumbai. But certainly the application dates for KJ Somaiya and Goa Institution of Management have been closed, so we cannot do anything great with these colleges that we have mentioned here. If at all you have filled up the application for these colleges, if your scores is in the range of either 95 to 99 percentile predicted scores, then certainly you are expected to get a call from your KJ Somaiya and Goa Institution of Management. Now, let me talk about the colleges which are actually open. One of the great colleges which are open in India after your CMAT exam also, certainly these are the colleges who have closed the application, but as happens every year, these colleges are again reopening with respect to the application of forms from the CMAT examination themselves. One of them would be Great Lakes, Chennai, as well as the Gurgaon campus, and second of them would be your Pumba. Pumba also, as said, will be open only and only from the CAP round, so you do not have to put the application by, it's not an autonomous college, it's a Pune University main premise in campus, so you would have to wait for the centralized application process to open for that too. And yes, Xavier's Institute of Social Service, which is XISS Ranchi, where the average placement is standing in the range of 10 to 10.5 lakhs and above, it can also be a decent deal which you can bet on. See, everything depends on the kind of expectation which you're setting. If you're okay to get into a band of college which gives you 10 lakhs and above of an average salary, the highest placement is going to be in the range of 15 to 16 lakhs domestic for sure. But on average, 10 and above is what the expectations are, then certainly XISS Ranchi can also be one of those options which you should look into. And this application is also open, which you guys have to consider in the next couple of days to make sure the application round deadlines are met. And then now we'll talk about the Band B colleges. Now, what are Band B colleges? Band B colleges are those colleges where the cutoff is always going to be less than 90 percentile or possibly less than 85 percentile on the basis of your CMAT examination. Majority of the colleges that you are seeing here will basically give you a profile-based score too. What is happening going to be, or what is going to happen on the profile-based application? The first thing that they will check would be your PAR, which is your past academic records. Second thing that they will check will be basically your application form round. Application form round could be as simple as a simple questionnaire of PIQ, could be a simple essay which you need to submit in the form of SOP also. So on the basis of your past academic records, application process screening, and the performance on GD and PI, they will evaluate the composite score of the given student. That's the reason on low score or low percentile also, there are certain high chances for you to get into these colleges. And the primary aim for all the students, around about 15,000 plus students, apply for Wellinkar colleges, apply for Wellinkar, both the campuses, which is of Mumbai and Bangalore. The primary aim is somehow to get into the Mumbai main campus. The PGDM core program, I repeat, there are multiple programs which are there in Wellinkar. So right from core MBA program, then they have got BD program, EBS program, rural retail, business analytics program, healthcare management program. But the most important flagship program of Mumbai campus is going to be your core PGDM of Wellinkar Mumbai, for which the cutoff would be as low as 85%. Does that mean on a score of 75, you cannot get into Wellinkar Mumbai? There could be a chance. There could be a chance that you, on the score of 75 also, you are getting into Wellinkar Mumbai main campus, but for the secondary courses. What are the secondary courses? These are sectoral MBA programs, either into healthcare management, rural management, retail management, business design, or EBS. There are several programs, but there's also a plus advantage. What is the plus advantage? Imagine if I get 80 percentile and if I don't get into Wellinkar PGDM program, but I'm getting into any other college, let's say MET Mumbai. Over here, I'm getting a PGDM main program. Now the choice is between, should I go for the PGDM main program of MET or should I go into Wellinger non-PGDM core, non-core programs? Where would you go? What my advice would be, you can also be open for the non-core programs which are available there, wherever your eligibility comes into picture. Why? Because all the campuses in India, especially if I talk about Wellinger, they offer pool placement. Now, what is pool placement? Pool placement is a scenario where students of all the specialization, core MBA, core PGDM, business analytics, retail, rural, HCM, whichever program the college is offering, they are clubbed together for the placement. I repeat, there's no bifurcation with respect to the PGDM batch should be getting placed first, followed by other students. No, the CVs have been will be floated to all the companies which are coming to the campus. Now it's up to the corporate institution, the companies who are coming with the for the placement, to screen and select students on the level of their acumen and business knowledge. They will hardly differentiate between you whether you have done a core MBA program or whether you have done a sectoral MBA program. So there are high chances that even if I get into rural management of Wellinger, Mumbai, you get a job of 15 lakhs and above, which is beyond the average package of core MBA program. That's why you got to be open for all the programs for all the colleges that we are talking about. Clear? And at the same time, the secondary campuses of the great institutions, just like Great Lakes Chennai is the primary flagship course and campus, you will see the secondary satellite campus of Gurgaon, of Great Lakes, Nagpur and Hyderabad of IMT. We are also doing fairly decent, where the average placement is above 9.5 lakhs for both the colleges to be opened in the given range. Where to go, where not to go will be totally dependent on the results of your GDPI. But at this stage, you guys cannot take a risk. You guys have to be open for all the colleges which are giving you a call for interview. Sit for the interview, give your best shot for GDPI, get the best application form ready, and depending on the final result, then take a call after you get a call from multiple colleges. You look into the aspect of the fees, the average placement, the faculties on board, the campus life, everything that we can look into. The other colleges could be a part B, or let's say latter part of their band 2 colleges, which are usually open in the range of 75 to 85 percentile in Mumbai and certainly in other parts of India also, where you'll see colleges like BIMTech Noida. So BIMTech Noida is one of those colleges which has been backed by great corporate institutions also. So any college which is being backed by good corporate institution behind will never take it easy in terms of, I mean, it's not going to be difficult for you to get a high paying job. So I would recommend BIMTech as well as AIDTM, which is Adani Institution of Technology Management, which has been backed by the house of Adani. This is Adani's in-house in the university, where you can see good technology-based jobs coming up. As said, you guys can be open for these colleges, which is going to be backed by these corporate institutions where the placement is going to be sorted and the cutoff is also less. So depending on your percentile and the predicted scores, I want you to be at least open for more than 5-6 campuses, 5-6 colleges, so that you apply for GDP rounds. At least out of 6 interviews which you will write, 3 to 4 will get converted. Out of 3 to 4 converts, you then go ahead with at least one of them in the admission. I hope this is clear to all of you. Moving ahead, now the primary thing what I want you to take as the utmost important aspect now is to apply. If you have not applied, then the first thing that you need to do is apply for Wellinger Bombay. If you have already applied, the shortlisting might have already out. I repeat, the shortlist have already been out for Wellinger PI round. Now, what is Wellinger PI round? Usually that PI round is actually called as the pre-interview questioning, right? Now, coming to the point of discussion, the only scope for you to get into a band A, or let's say part A of band B college, which is best in class in India, where the average placement is going to be around 11 lakhs and above, top rated multinational companies of FMCG, analytics, e-commerce domain will be coming for your placements, will be Wellinger. The primary campus that you're looking at would be Mumbai. The secondary campus, be open for both the campuses, aim for the Mumbai campus, but obviously it's going to be dependent on the performance on GD and PI2. But before the GDPI round, the primary important thing on which they will evaluate every student, there are 15,000 applications. I repeat, there are 15,000 applications which have come to Wellinger. Out of 15,000 applications, the shortlist have already been given to around about 12 to 12,500 people out of the people who have already applied. Out of 12,000 people who have actually been shortlisted, they will have to sit for the PIQ test. out of 12,000 people who are sitting for the PIQ test, around about 5 to 5,500 people will be actually deselected. They will not be selected. Around about 6 to 7,000 interviews they will take. It's going to be a funnel. So the next important thing and the primary important thing for all of you now is, before you even talk about CET or any other exam which is going to come ahead, is how to secure your deal with Willinker. And for that, the most important component as of now, which you have to look into, would be Willinker PIQ test. As said, this is a pre-interview questionnaire. They will select the students who have the right aptitude and attitude towards management. I repeat, any college wants to select the best brains of India, not just in the sense they have to be a bookworm or they have to have a compulsory bookish knowledge. But as said, if you're business acumen, if you're self-aware, if you're aware of what's happening in and around you in terms of corporate awareness, then these are the people who will actually do well once they join the business school. So to select students before they even come for the interview, they keep this test, which is basically a PUIQ test, for which I'm sure majority of you might have got a shortlisting also. This is basically a personality-based test. One aspect of them will be to judge your personality. Second aspect of it is to judge your awareness. I repeat, 75% of your weightage of this paper will be based on some situation-based test. What are these situation-based tests? The situation-based test is to understand how would a given student react or respond if he has been put in that scenario. That scenario could be anything. Scenario could be anything happening on the personal front. That scenario could be anything which is going to happen in the next 2 years in Wellinger. The scenario could be anything which may happen after completion of the course also. I can give you any random thought. Possibly, let's say at the time of placement, you were not able to be a part of the, somehow for any damn reason, you are not being a part of the placement round for the campus of Wellinger. How would you react? So your reaction could be either you will go off campus or you will go to the placement committee, or you will do XYZ things. So the measures which you will take, the course of action which you will take, they will judge that. Only the right personality, people who have got right aptitude and attitude towards management will only be selected till the interview round. So primarily, there will be 4 situation-based tests. One of the examples, which is something which I'm going to give you now in the upcoming slide, is what you have to look into. So there will be 4 situation-based tests on which they will judge you. That's one. Secondly, there would be an essay. There would be impromptu essay. They will give you a topic and you have to pen down your thoughts on the same. As said, your written communication will be judged. At the same time, your opinion and your thought process will also be judged. Both of them are really important. One is your thought process. Second is going to be your written communication, not the verbal communication, but the written communication will also be judged. And the third important aspect, which usually non-technical students are not much aware of, is how much awareness have you got with respect to the new advancement in technology, which is going to impact businesses. Now we understand businesses nowadays have become very diverse. It's become very robust, and this is purely because of the advancement of technology. Now, what are these big technologies that we are talking about? We are looking at the impact of artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data analytics. Let's say what's happening on the crypto side. They possibly can ask you questions, what is blockchain technology? So these are some of the important technologies which we need to be well aware of. From the management perspective, no one will ask you technical questions. Mind you, no one will ask you technical questions, but they will ask you purely the management questions. Let's say in which of the segment or let's say sector blockchain cannot be used or blockchain can be used, likewise so on and so forth. They can give you all those questions. So you got to be aware of the impact of technology from the aspect of business. So these are 3 important sections. One is a situation-based test, followed by your written communication on the piece of essay, and third is what is the awareness you have got on the level of technology advancement. These 3 sections answers will be combined and will be sent to your interview panelist. The interview panelist will actually check each and every answer. So when you go for the interview round, I repeat, when you go for the interview round, they will ask similar questions back. And if at all you change the answers, whatever you have mentioned, certainly it's going to be a mismatch between the answers which you have mentioned and the kind of personality which you're trying to showcase there, and these students will never get selected. So as said, whatever preparation you have done up till now, for your CAT till CMAT is on one side. Secondly, before you race up for the CET examination, the important aspect which you need to work upon is, as said, if not for all college, at least for winning, all of you have to give it and give it a shot. And the most important aspect which you got to work upon is your PIQ test. Now, here's a small example which I've taken for all of you, which is one of the previous year question of the PIQ test. I hope the screen is visible to all of you. This is one important question that we will possibly see what answer to mark, what answer not to mark, so that you then now know what are the kind of questions you can expect in the PIQ. Now, this is 2020 paper of PIQ, and let's see if at all you're able to crack this too. Let's together read the question well. The question says, you're working in a call center for a major UK telecom company. You have received a call from a customer who has been waiting for an engineer who has failed to arrive within the scheduled time slot. I repeat, you're working for a telecom UK-based company. You have received a call from a customer who has put an inquiry for the engineer to visit at a given scheduled time. Clear? The customer is now upset and they are talking in a raised voice. This is an important parameter to actually read the case upon. The scheduled time was fixed. The engineer has not arrived. And now the question says, the customer is now upset with the incident and now he is raising his voice and complaining about the issue. The question is, of the following options indicated, which of the following is the most effective and least effective action to take out of all? I repeat. Now, even if you talk about what is the most effective measure to take, I'm sure you will understand what are the kind of questions that you are expecting. These are questions which are on the level of course of action. You have to choose the best possible action which can be immediately put across to resolve the issue. I repeat, it's a course of action. You got to evaluate all the options, but whatever is immediate and whatever is able to resolve the issue is what I have to look into. But everything will be dependent on your problem statement. So you read the case twice, thrice, n number of times to understand what is the problem statement. Only if you have understood this, then only you will be able to solve the question. What will you do? Statement number 1 says, apologize to the customer and say you will arrange for a rescheduled appointment. Now, your concern was the customer is upset because of the non-arrival of the engineer at that scheduled time slot. The engineer has failed to arrive in that scheduled time slot. The statement says apologize to the customer and say you will arrange for the rescheduled appointment slot. Will that resolve the issue which he is facing as of now? The answer certainly is no. My ongoing issue has not been resolved, so I'm not going to mark this answer. Statement number 2 says, listen to the customer's feedback and tell them you can understand why they are upset and must be very much inconvenient for them. This is so much superficial. There's hardly any action which you have taken. So this also goes out of focus. The third statement says, explain that the engineer was very busy. And it is difficult for her or him to always come on time. So you will reassure that, okay, he's going to arrive soon. Now you are running away from the responsibility and the commitment from the companies. Now, there's a protocol for all the, let's say, an engineer to come on time. So that's a protocol to be followed. Now, this is totally against the ethics, or let's say the business code of conduct from the company's perspective. So even option number 3 goes out. Lastly, it says, ask the customer to hold on a while to contact the engineer to establish where she is. The question was, the engineer was supposed to arrive in the given scheduled time. The customer is upset because there is non-presence. The engineer has not yet arrived. So the first objective that we all have to check is basically what? The first objective that we need to check is what is the current status? What is the current status of the point of arrival for that engineer? Whether she possibly, whatever, it could be an emergency where she's not able to take the call or arriving on time. Whatever it is, you got to promptly update the engineer and establish the link between the engineer and your customer. So among all, I'm going to mark option number 4 to be the answer for this question. I hope you are clear. This is one of the situation-based tests. I repeat, this is one of the situation-based tests which you can expect in the examination of PIQ. There are several other cases. It could be way much more diverse also. All the questions looks very close. That's why you got to practice enough before you go for the examination. And that's why it's going to be important for you to attend all the sessions that we are planning. I repeat, whatever sessions we are planning for your PIQ and the upcoming GDPI, You got to get in touch with all the mentors. The number which I've given you here, you just have to put your selection or shortlisting update of Wellinger and the other colleges which you have got. And the team of MBAP will help you out with all the updates as well as all the important sessions on the kind of questions that you can expect in the paper and to make you go ready for the GD and the PI prep for the given institutions which you are looking at as the last one. Now that's one stage where of discussion where on the basis of your CMAT examination, the first thing that I want you to be ready with, the college applications to be considered as well as Wellinger PIQ test. The second thing which I want you to be also ready with, at least do not lose the hope to be ready and gear up for the last mile of examination, which is going to be Maharashtra CET examination for all the great institutions which are there in Mumbai for the PGDM and the MMS course. All India students can very well apply for the given examination and secure the seat in the PGDM and the MMS program. The only college where there could be a perception that CET would be applied, let me clear the myth. KJ Somya has totally been out. Wellinger PGDM program. I repeat, Wellinger College PGDM program, they do not accept or entertain students coming with CET scores. It is only the MMS program of Wellinger for which you can apply via CET examination. Rest all the colleges, whether you talk about Bajaj, Signum, Wellinger, NL Dalmia, SIS, Mumbai, and everyone, they will be okay to take you on the level of the MMS program as well as your the PGDM program on the basis of CET examination. So do not lose the hope. Give one more time your best shot for the upcoming CET examination, which is due. At the same time, if you want to apply for PGDM examination, I would advise you to take at least one of the exam of between ATMA and MAT. Let me tell you the reason also why. Why should we consider MAT and ATMA to be our last choice along with CET? Now we understand there are so many competitive examinations. You've got CAT, SAT, CMAT, CET, ATMA, and MAT. When I apply for PGDM colleges, I repeat, when I apply for PGDM colleges, for example, let's say if I apply to Wellinger, Wellinger will give you certain component of the weightage of marks. Out of 100% selection, 60-65 will be dependent on the entrance exam score, which is the percentile. Now, Wellinger will not look into the perspective whether you are applying via CET or CMAT or ATMA MAT. The other institutions will certainly not look into it. So it's always visible that whatever your scores are in your CMAT examination, at least 8 to 10 percentile more you will get in ATMA or MAT examination, purely because of very few people applying for the given exam, and the exam is also going to come in the month of May. So just to make yourself comfortable and just to make you guys understand one more time, I'm saying one, you got to be ready with the CMAT examination for the aim of Bajaj or Signum. Second, for the PGDM, don't consider whatever you've got in CMAT examination was done and dusted. Very well, I want you to take at least one more exam between ATMA and MAT, because when I'm going to submit my exam score of ATMA or MAT to PGDM colleges, they will not bifurcate whether I have applied via CMAT, MAT or ATMA. So scoring 95 to 99 in MAT or ATMA is very much easier than scoring the same in CET and your CMAT examination. Cool. So let me summarize it one more time. What did we understand? We have actually seen the kind of colleges which are now open, which you got to apply to on the basis of your scores, which has been predicted. Now, on the basis of that, the first thing that you have to look into is submit the Wellinger application, be ready for the PIQ test also. I repeat, be ready for the PIQ test also and start preparation for your GDPI and the PIQ test of Wellinger. Secondly, be ready for two examinations. One is CET for sure. Second is either between MAT or ATMA for the upcoming examination. Is this clear to everyone? I hope I've done my job and all of you have understood the further course of action which is required for you to take after your CMAT examination, the preparation. It's not the case, it's done and dusted. The race is going to start now. Preparation of CET along with GDPI are two things that we need to work upon parallelly. As said, both of them are equally important. So possibly I will have to put double the effort, whatever I've been putting up, so that I can secure the seat of PGDM or MBA and at the same time race for the upcoming MMS examinations too. Cool. On this note, I'll take a sign off. You can actually get in touch with the mentors on board so that they can update you and help you out with the further updates on the courses, what you guys can look up to. I wish you all the best and I will see you in the another session.